Welcome to another episode of Apex Legends Deep Dive, and today's legend is Rampart.
I don't think of myself as the best, just all of you as the worst. Yeah, fancy that.
On today's episode, we will be looking at all the perks and details for Rampart and how each one can be used while in game and how each one can benefit you as well. Before we begin, I would just like to say if you're here watching this video, I really appreciate you stopping by and taking the time in your day to check it out. If you would like, hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all my content and leave a like on the video if you're enjoying this series of Apex Legends Deep Dive. Enjoy. Alright, so we're moving on to our next controller class legend, and her name is Rampart. Just a quick reminder, all controller legends have the ability to gain access to ring consoles on the map. These ring consoles give you the location of the next circle and are very helpful for any team. Just wanted to put that out there real quick. So Rampart was introduced back in season 6, and I will say that when she was announced, everyone was scared that her minigun would be broken in the game and that she would probably break the game as well. Of course, mind you that she was the only legend to have this at the time, and also her abilities would introduce buffs that offers, increased damage for her and her team with her tactical. But when she did launch, she was a little bit underwhelming and she did not gain the momentum to be a go-to legend to play with. So she basically launched, people tested her out, and unfortunately she didn't take over the meta at that time. I think it was still, I don't think they had nerfed the Wraith yet. So I think it was still Wraith, Patty, Bloodhound was still in there a little bit, was starting the game, but it was still Gibby, so it was a lot different back in season 6. So, she was kind of overlooked for a while as seasons went on, and until I forget which season exactly, but they did end up adjusting her. And one of the great additions that they did to her was that she can now be mobile with her minigun. So for this, she was only able to use her ultimate in one place, and that was it. Now she's able to move around with the minigun actually. So this gave her a lot of power to gain advantage over enemies. I mean, can you imagine, of course, a minigun coming after you? I mean, that's pretty scary in my opinion. Of course, you are a slow moving target, but again, being in front of Sheila, it paints a scary picture for anyone, I think. Furthermore, they adjusted the speed of her tacticals as well, so she can put up her walls even faster now. And also, this was before the Spitfire nerf, so with her passive, she could get like up to 60 to 65 bullets. So this was way before the Spitfire nerf. So the Spitfire was crazy when you used it with her. It was a great combo to have in those days for sure. Now currently she does sit near the bottom of the pick rate list, but in my opinion, I think she makes a great controller legend to use for any situation to bunker down an area and just hold off as many teams as you can. And I also think that her perks have given her a little bit of a boost to be helpful as well. All right, let's do an introduction of Rampart's abilities. Rampart has a passive called Modded Loader. This allows you to increase magazine heat capacity and faster reloads recharge capacity when using an LMG and the minigun. So her passive is very good when using LMGs. As mentioned before, this was amazing when the Spitfire LMG would carry more bullets than it does today. Each time you used Rampart, you had to have an LMG just to take advantage of this. So I remember using the Spitfire with Rampart, and it was pretty strong for sure. This does increase the magazine by 15%, and it does decrease reload time for about 25%. Now, in my opinion, I think this passive is still great to use even today. You can still use it with any LMG fanatic for sure. Would love to have this. If you play Rampart as your main, definitely always have an LMG. Her tactical is called Amp Covered. This allows you to build a crouch cover wall, which deploys a full cover amped that blocks incoming shots but amps outgoing shots. You can hold up to 3 charges with each one taking 20 seconds to recharge. The max you can have deployed is 5. Now these are great to get to cover pretty quick in open areas, so you can just pop all 3 of them real quick, boom boom boom, ready to go. But do keep in mind that when you deploy a wall, it takes about 2 seconds to fully deploy, and enemies can shoot this while it's being deployed. While that's happening, it will have up to 120 HP before it gets completely destroyed. So you kind of do have to strategize a little bit on when you're going to pop these walls. But when it is fully deployed, they have separate HP for the cover. The top part, which includes the amp buff, will only have 250 HP. As for the bottom part of the wall, it will have up to 500 HP. Now, always remember that Rampart can place them very quickly since they updated the speed in which you can deploy them now. So make sure to angle them in the right angle, and you can just put one in front of the other and you'll be able to do it fast enough to make sure one doesn't get destroyed while the other one has enough time to still deploy. And make sure to line it up in an angle where you and your teammates can shoot to gain the buff, which is a 20% damage for all 3 of you. You cannot stack them in front of each other to gain more buff damage. It will stay at 20%, so keep that in mind. Also, try to set these walls ideally before fights or while in cover, such as like Gibby's Dome or Newcastle's walls. You can put them behind that for sure. Her ultimate is called Mobile Minigun or Sheila. This allows Rampart to wield her mobile minigun with a single high capacity magazine. You could also place it down for anyone to use as a stationary reloadable turret as well. So you have the options for either one. The cooldown for this is 2 minutes. As mentioned before, this was only stationary until I don't remember which season where they gave it the mobility. When it is mobile again, it has 173 rounds to use before it is used up. If you use Sheila and you holster it, you do get some of the recharge back for the next time to use it again. It takes about 1.25 seconds or so to spin up. Now, even though you are mobile with Sheila, it is ideal to make sure to manage how to use Sheila in certain situations. All right, let's take a look at level 2 upgrades for Rampart. Option 1, Bandolier, carry extra ammo per stack. This perk allows you to basically get the advantage of the assault class. So for each stack of ammo you have, you can now carry 3 stacks. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a great perk because you could carry more ammo, but it would give you more space in your backpack to carry items instead. So I personally like to carry around 180 or maybe 240 rounds. If you're a 240 rounder or 180, this will definitely keep you pretty comfortable to have enough space in your backpack to add other items as well. Not a bad addition for Rampart, honestly. Option 2, ultimate cooldown. Reduce ultimate cooldown by 30 seconds. So this perk allows your ultimate to be reduced by 30 seconds. It currently is 2 minutes. So with this perk, it would drop it to 1.5 minutes. Now, this means that more time to use Sheila more often. Having Sheila available more often is great, I think, in my opinion, giving your team confidence to have more firepower to hold off a team each time. Because let's be serious, no one is going to really want to push in the open if a Sheila's there, because you will lose that pretty quickly. Even no matter what gun you have, unless you have another Sheila on your team. But other than that, I mean, I don't think you're going to want to push that in an open area. So not a bad addition as well for any Rampart player who wants to have the ultimate quickly and ready to go at any time. Let's take a look at level 3 upgrades for Rampart. Option 1, ramped up, improved mobile Sheila handling and spin up time by 20%. This perk allows you to gain better mobility while holding Sheila, and also the spin up time will be reduced as well. Spin up time will be reduced to about a second with this perk active. Now, I did test this in the firing range, and I will say that the mobility was not like game breaking, but it is a little bit better for sure to use. But could I see myself using this? I believe so, yes. I would use this perk because if you combine it correctly and time it correctly, you could definitely be a menace using Sheila for sure. Option 2, amped reloads. Reload faster with Sheila or when behind amped cover. This perk will allow you to have faster reloads while being behind amped cover. So this basically gives you the same reload speed that Ballistic gives you when he uses his ultimate. So if you picture that, that's kind of how this perk is going to work. I could see this being used pretty good for those who want to fight behind the cover all the time. If you're going to be behind the cover all the time, I could see this perk being used for that situation for sure. Now, I personally would say that I love the fast reloads when I tested this, but it is going to tie you down to just be behind cover all the time. Which, I mean, let's be honest, if you're using Rampart, I would expect everyone to be behind the cover all the time because you're going to get the buff anyway, right? So it's not a bad thing to do. It's going to tie you down to the amp cover, but it is situational for anyone that uses this perk. But it is a great addition, I think. Just keep in mind that it is only for you, and your teammates will not have this buff. So only you will have the amp reloads, not your team. All right, so for my final verdict for Rampart and choosing the 2 perks to use while playing with her, I did have a little bit of difficulty choosing for this because I personally like them all. But as for team play, I would have to say the 2 perks to be a go-to will probably have to be ultimate cooldown and ramped up. The reason I say this is because it's the best combo to have with Rampart to use Sheila very quickly, in my opinion. For ultimate cooldown, you will have Sheila ready to go every 1.5 minutes, which I think is good for any team to have. As you know, like I said before, it is going to be more comfortable for you to know that you always have Sheila ready to go. It would be great for those fights to either finish knockdowns or even hold off a team while your teammates heal. You know, you could be the cover. No one's going to want to push you if you're in an open area. If someone gets knocked, no one's going to want to push that. They will have to flank you. So you kind of have to just manage the flanks at that point. Now, if you do combine this with the level 3 option, it would make Sheila even better. And that's why I say to choose ramped up. The spin up option will also help you, get into fights quickly. You pull out Sheila and the spin up is not going to take it's going to be a little bit faster. So that's why I say ramped up would be the other option for sure. But as for the other options, I do want to say that they are helpful as well, but maybe you can use them if that is your preference. So the amp reload and the bandolier, they give you more ammo. If you want to combine maybe the more ammo with the ramped up, maybe that's a possibility as well. I mean, I just see her being a little bit more effective with each perk. Each perk can benefit either Rampart herself or team. But in my opinion, I just think this is the best option to go with, is ultimate cooldown and ramped up. Let me know in the comments if there are any Rampart mains, if the other options are helpful too. Let me know. Well, there it is, everyone. That is all the details on Rampart and how each perk can benefit you or not while in game. I appreciate everyone that stopped by to check out the video. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe to check out all uploads, shorts, and streams. I will be continuing to the next and last legend, Catalyst, in the next episode. Enjoy the rest of your day, and remember, never stop gaming. Amaro out. Peace.